1690 WJGP Wolverine Radio. It's the weekly checkup with Kevin Skulczyk. We're being joined as well this morning by resident of the town, Philip Flowers. Now, Mr. Skulczyk had to leave because he had to go play bridge.
Yes.
This morning, he had to leave the talk show because he has to go play cards. Yeah. You know what? And this is Tina from Dean's Corner who's slinging coffee at us right now. And how do you feel about Kevin having to leave to go play cards?
I don't think Kevin should have made that choice to leave to go play cards.
Well, if somebody would have been on time, though, I mean, maybe.
Oh, you were late?
Well, I think.
No, me. It was me.
Kevin and I were on time.
It's my responsibility, and I had some things this morning, and I know.
was taking over for Kevin.
So you can't say much then.
This is all coming down on me today. It's all coming down on me today.
I'm sure your dog thanks you, because weren't you supposed to go have the dog neutered or something like that?
Oh my!
Neutered or something?
Oh my God! I know. I was supposed to play Bob Barker this morning, and I actually, for the most part, I'm pretty much a one-man gig at Wolverine Radio. We have a couple of people that are helping out. We have a gentleman in the afternoon that does news. His name is Lou Russo. He's a great guy. He's got his own radio show where he lives. We've got Leighton Morris, who does our afternoon show, straight from England, as a matter of fact. And thank God there's this thing called the internet.
Yes.
Which is very, very helpful, and it affords us the opportunity to get talent or anywhere from the far reaches of the globe, which is really, really cool. But getting back to getting my little puppy, and I was talking about this morning on my own show, was my little dog, Mary the Wonder Pup. She, who's we believe part Australian Kelpie and Blue Heeler, which I got from I'm actually fostering from Wings of Freedom from Laura Rainier's group.
Oh, fantastic!
And her husband actually, has a lot to do with the bicentennial. So we'll talk about that in a little bit as well. But she was supposed to get spayed this morning, and I completely slept right through it. So Mary is probably breathing a sigh of relief at this point, but I haven't talked to Laura yet, and I'm going to get an earful from that too. But I just overslept, and here I am. You and Kevin are here at 10 o'clock waiting for me. I'm not here yet, and that just gives you an idea of what my business acumen is all about. So you have a couple of topics you want to start talking about, Mr. Flowers.
Absolutely. First, let's start off with the proposal to increase the number of members of the Board of Selectmen from 3 to 5. We have some important dates. February 24th, there will be a Board of Selectmen regular meeting. It'll be a public forum at 6:30 p.m. at the Town Hall. That's going to be the first meeting. There will be another meeting March 10th for the Board of Selectmen. It'll be a regular meeting, public forum again, 6:30 at the Town Hall. On March 16th, there will be a special town meeting at 6:30 p.m., and that's at the Griswold Middle School cafeteria. Please come, ask some questions, and make sure that your voice is heard.
You know, I'm a big fan of, and I know you are too because you mentioned it earlier, a big fan of Ryan Aubin and what he does with Griswold Youth and Family Services in the Parks and Recreation Department. He has some phenomenal programs, and I don't think a lot of people even have an idea of what he does down there, and that's okay, but he just keeps putting program after program out. There are tons of things that people are not even aware of, and just to start out, you can always go to GriswoldYFS.com, which is the Griswold Youth and Family Services website, and everything is right there with all of his activities that his organization and his group schedules. There are 4-H classes, Zumba-tomic, which I'm not quite sure what that is, but I'm sure it has something to do with Zumba. Everybody Zumba. Yoga, art, pottery. They have music therapy. There's a girls' circle. and much, much more.
There's a ton of things that Ryan Aubin does, and some of the things are like the community Easter egg hunt, Youthopia, summer recreation camp. He does the movies in the park, Heroes for a Day, Edgar Fontaine's Spooktopia.
Which was a
Holiday
blast.
Helpers.
Did you go to Spooktopia last year?
I did not go. I missed it, but I heard it was fantastic.
It was a lot of fun, and and everybody was having such a good time. There was great food down there. There was some entertainment, or some awesome vendors where you can get either free samples and stuff. Where they were like the Bicentennial Group was there, and they were just giving people points of history of what was going on with. Like, people don't understand about the grizzled vampires.
Yeah, I never knew about it.
Yeah, so that's a lot of things. There are a lot of things that are going to be coming out, especially with the bicentennial events this year that are going to be lots and lots of fun. This is going to be a great year for Griswold. One of the things that I'm really looking forward to is the old-time baseball game.
Everybody's going to have their uniforms.
They're going to have their old-time baseball uniforms on. It's going to be very nostalgic, and it's going to. You're going to.
Do you know what they used for bases back then?
Maybe first selectman.
First selectman, second selectman, third selectman.
Third selectman gives you a whole new meaning of getting to third base.
Yes.
The Summertime Street Festival. From what I understand, and I could be wrong, but I was talking to Kevin about this a couple of times, but from what I understand, they're actually going to close Main Street down.
Wow.
And there are going to be bands playing up on the green over by the Catholic Church, and then it's just going to be one big party central.
Kind of like a Mardi Gras, Griswold.
Kind of, yeah. One of the things about the weekly checkup with Kevin Skulchek that we do every single week is we like to get resident concerns and thoughts, and we just want to know what they have to say as far as the community that they live in, good, bad, or indifferent. That's why we have this show. We like to have people like Phil on, things about the Bicentennial and different fun things. But the other thing as well is that this is a forum for residents to come on the show, voice their opinions of what they think. This is not a politically correct show. It doesn't mean that you have to come in and say, oh, I think the town's doing a great job, and I love living here, and yay, Griswold. It's not about that. It has nothing to...
No, and we actually stopped one of the customers here at Dean's Corner on his way out the door, and we'd like to welcome him to the show.
And, sir, thanks. We kind of lynched you in here, but this is not a lynching. What's your first name?
Derek.
And do you live here in Griswold?
I do.
Okay. Now, you, off air, you had stated a concern that you had, and you kind of told us a little bit about it, but we definitely want to hear what you got to say, Derek.
All right. Well, basically, I was coming home down 201, which is East Main Street here in Jewett City, and I was turning left onto Hawkins Street to go to my home, and it was kind of dark out, and there was a car that was parked on Hawkins Street, and she was coming up to the stop sign, could not see me or see onto East Main Street, so she pulled past the stop line because the snowbanks were so high. She wanted to see the oncoming traffic, and as she did that, I was turning onto Hawkins Street, and I ended up hitting her. And I could not see her because she was hidden behind the snowbank. So we kind of hit each other as I was turning and as she was pulling up. And it's a concern because when the cops came, basically it's my fault because I was turning, but it would have never happened if the snowbank wasn't there.
Your line of sight wasn't there due
Definitely.
to the fact that the snowbanks are too high.
Correct.
So that is a concern, and
Right.
maybe that's something that I didn't even think about earlier when we were talking about how...
That's why it's great that we have Derek with us because, or any resident that, comes down to Dean's Corner when we do this show, nothing can get changed unless you bring a concern up. It's like, Philip, you have a concern about the Board of Selectmen. Your idea is to expand it from 3 to 5. We talked about what to do because as an average Griswold resident, like myself, I wouldn't even know the steps to go ahead and do that. That's why.
Well, I can tell you this, being on the Public Health and Safety Board, when I leave here, I'm going to go down to Town Hall and see who I can get to address the issue with these snowbanks.
And the only way that anything's ever going to get changed, and Phil here is a perfect example of that, is by speaking up. So I know you had some inhibitions about coming on the air, Derek, and that's all good, and I understand that. But I'm certainly glad that you did, because nothing will ever get changed unless somebody doesn't speak up. Phil, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Great job with the radio, and hopefully there's more to come.
Well, we're going to keep moving forward. So once again, thanks for joining us for the weekly checkup with Kevin Skulczyk. My name is Mike. And for Phil Flowers, thanks a lot and have yourself a great afternoon from 1690 WJGP Wolverine Radio.